Hello and welcome back to the channel for another Doctor Who video. It is the morning after The Power of the Doctor, the 13th Doctor's final story, and David Tennant is the 14th Doctor. And that's what I'm going to be discussing in today's video, because I sort of touched on it a little bit in yesterday's sort of initial reaction. I mean, how could I not? But yeah, I very much wanted to kind of focus on the episode itself in that video, whereas today I want to kind of get my thoughts on that final scene, on those final 60 seconds or whatever, and how things played out, and some thoughts about how it's going to work, going into the future as well with the anniversary next year. So I will do a proper trailer breakdown as well, because obviously we had that teaser trailer right after the episode aired, and also some new promo pics and a new press release and stuff. I'll touch on that in this video, but I'll also cover it separately as well. For the time being, let's just turn our attention to that regeneration scene in the immediate aftermath of Jodie disappearing into a blaze of light and David Tennant appearing there, and just go back to that moment when I was watching that and my sort of initial reaction, because obviously the first thing we see is like his chest, right? It's kind of the tie and the suit and stuff, sort of emerging on his chest, and then it kind of grows from there into the full costume, because obviously you sort of see the costume first. For people in the know that have been keeping up with filming and stuff, for the fans, that was the kind of clear indication that, okay, this isn't going to be Shooty Gatwa, it's going to be David Tennant, unless they're pulling a prank on us and having like Shooty Gatwa in David Tennant's 6th anniversary outfit. But no, it was David Tennant, and I thought it was quite a canny way to do it, to be honest, sort of having the costume appear first, before you then reveal the face. I mean, I guess it sort of made sense to do that, have a little bit of build up to the moment, but yeah, sort of for the fans, to have that there was nice. And obviously as well, the first time, I guess, since the very first regeneration that we've had the outfit of the Doctor as well regenerate, with the Doctor's body, because obviously with the first Doctor's handover to the second Doctor, that happened. He just appeared, Patrick Troughton, in a new outfit rather than his predecessor's clothes, and obviously more recently it's kind of become a tradition to not do that, to have the next Doctor in the predecessor's clothes and to have them sort of running around in them for their first adventure, which yeah, has its own pros and cons, I guess. I guess this sort of gets round the awkwardness of that perhaps, and sort of gets the ball rolling, because now we can start off with the new Doctor in his new outfit rather than him having to go and find one, rather than him running around in Jodie's clothes for a whole episode, which some people, I can understand, don't really like the idea of the Doctor having to do that and having to have that sort of handover period, before things can actually get going in earnest. So yeah, that was interesting, and a nice nod to the fans there, a nice nod back to the very first generation there, with Hartnell and Troughton. So, in terms of David Tennant, in terms of actually seeing his face, the moment we saw his face appear after the costume, my initial reaction was one of, okay, this was rumoured for many months, like 10 months ago, I did a video, or 9 months maybe, when the rumours first came out that David Tennant was going to be involved in some way, it was going to be the 14th Doctor. I did a video responding to that, sort of, titled, David Tennant is the 14th Doctor, sort of poo-pooing the idea and all that sort of stuff, I've talked about this on the channel already. So I think, because it had been rumoured, and, yes, okay, the rumours have gained a bit more traction in recent months, since it was actually confirmed David Tennant was going to be in the 60th. But even so, I think, because there have been the rumours there and stuff, and because fans had kind of predicted right to the final line being, what was going to happen, there was a slight sense, I guess, of wanting to be a bit more surprised than I was by what happened, because it very much was just what, us fans predicted to happen. It wasn't as shocking as it might have been, if we hadn't had an announcement, we hadn't had him in public filming or anything. That would have been amazing. The one thing I will say that I was actually genuinely surprised by was his very first line about his teeth being familiar, or whatever it is, because obviously that's a callback to his first line in the show in Part of the Ways about, his teeth being weird. But yeah, nevertheless, it's exciting to see him back and to have some proper, high-res photos now of his new costume, because, for months we've just been going off those sort of quite grainy sort of pictures from filming and stuff. I mean, some of them are better than others, but some of them aren't great. And so it's nice to have a proper look at that costume, a proper look at the outfits, and a proper sort of sense of what is going to happen. Because, yeah, even so, I've said all that stuff, even though it was rumoured, even though we sort of predicted it, it was still an audacious thing to do, and is a massive game changer in terms of how we move forward, more broadly into the show's history, because we've now got this precedent of a past Doctor, coming back. David Tennant is not the 10th Doctor, he is the 14th Doctor, Ncuti is the 15th Doctor. That is how they phrased it in the press release. So now I guess we've got this precedent, assuming this doesn't turn out to be some kind of like trick by the Celestial Toymaker or whoever the villain is of the 60th specials, because they've gone down this road of actually bringing him back as a new incarnation, we assume, it kind of opens the door now for other Doctor actors to come back as new incarnations. Like maybe Matt Smith will come back when he's 50 or 60 or whatever. Maybe Jodie Whittaker, even though she's just left. Maybe, she will come back in a similar way in like 10 or 20 years' time, because, she has made very clear in interviews and stuff how keen she is to come back, to get that call. She's always going to be there, waiting for the call and very eager to come back. So it's exciting from that point of view that this is how it could now work, not just for Tennant, but for other Doctors as well. So it's very exciting, monumental moves we've made, and a monumental regeneration scene, a landmark scene as well. It's going to go down in history, I guess, especially if this does happen again in the future, or even if it doesn't, just by itself. To have a current Doctor regenerating into a past Doctor's face as a new incarnation, it's a massive thing to do. Very, very different from what we've seen before. Sort of hinted at in the past with things like the Curator, that it could be possible for this to happen in the future. But, I doubt that Stephen Moffat was thinking of this particular scenario or outcome when he wrote that line. So it's just really nice how that sort of spiraled, I guess, from that potentially. And just they kind of bent the rules to allow this to happen and to do something really different and exciting, I suppose. I suppose that's all I can really say about this without going into the teaser trailer and the promo pics and the press release and stuff. But yeah, do let me know your thoughts on all this down in the comments below. Your thoughts on David Tennant's return, your thoughts on this seismic regeneration scene and the way it's kind of changed the rules of the game, I guess. And whether like me, you're a fan who grew up with David Tennant's era and you're excited to see him back because of that, or maybe you came to the show more recently. Just whatever your thoughts, whatever your sort of scenario and your context, let me know down in the comments below. What you think of all this, what you make of all of this, and your predictions for how it might work and what you think is going on here, whether it's just like a sort of standard thing, whether there is a reason for why this has happened, or whether you think someone like the Celestial Toymaker has interfered, or just whatever. Let me know down in the comments. If you have enjoyed this video, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new for more 6th anniversary themed videos in the future. And if you'd like to go the extra mile, you can support me on Patreon via the link in the video description. But otherwise, until the next one, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye for now.